There he is. Morning, Zack.
Well, I'd like to be enjoying the height of a giant or the will of a great chief's son. But I'm somewhere in the middle with my feet slipping off the pedals. I'm a two-legged, bent-head, wounded knee. In my silence turned to thoughts in my constant disbelief. I exist personified as the truth. Do I live life like a thief, or am I just reading energy? That which I teach, through my teeth comes what I preach. Boy, I sure would like to live without the burden of commitment, not attached to any person, place, or thing. But it's such a heavy load to carry nowhere alone. I am hopeful but tiring, because some of us are ghosts embodied like a face or a figure in the flesh. What you saw was a reflection of a moment. It was never really ever there. It was never really ever there. To thrust all my shadows to the dust, to purify, and may justice be served. Such an old man for a young man, understanding what he can of a blessing and of a curse. As a ghost taking the form, a very temporary form, may it be I'm commonly found in a grove. I choose a community of trees over a community of building, then I know I don't seek this alone. Yes, I know I don't seek this alone, because some of us are ghosts embodied like a face or a figure in the flesh. What you saw was a reflection of a moment. It was never really ever there. It was never really ever there. set afoot and have myself a look around the bend of the great red road, I would offer up a pipe for the chorus for my life, for the guidance and wisdom to know that some of us are ghosts embodied like a face or a figure in the flesh. What you saw was the reflection of a moment. It was never really ever there. It was never really ever there. I choose a community of trees over a community of buildings, and I don't seek us alone. I choose a community of trees over a community of buildings, and I don't seek us alone.
Wednesday vibes.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your head.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Let me ask you something. When you come in on Monday and you're not feeling real well, does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Ass kicked or not, I gotta say, I'm having just a bit of a Monday day today. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the IRONWORX. Still not streaming live on freeworld.fm yet. Or at least not again yet. We are on YouTube and we are live on Rumble. Got a message from Walter first thing this morning, like 3:07. Said he wasn't feeling well. He needed to get some rest. So we may be sans Walter once again this morning. But as you may have heard Andrew B. mentioned, we are joined by Zack. Zack did make it. I even put on a little extra long song to buy him some extra time. How you doing, Zack? Yep. Didn't do what?
Didn't get much sleep.
Oh, no.
I was out doing yard work in the garden and stuff, and came in at 8, and then about, 6 o'clock, I accidentally fell asleep and then woke up at like 9.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Then you're up till like 2?
Yeah. I'll get over it, though.
Well, hopefully Walter is going to be doing better.
Yeah, I hope so.
So maybe I can just fill in the blank for the time being.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. How are you doing this evening?
I got off work a few hours ago, so I'm doing great.
So a few hours, so you're probably half in the bag by now, huh?
Oh, I'm going to eat some chocolates tonight.
Nice.
Just FYI. I haven't done that in a little bit, but...
Did you guys see? Apparently, 63,000 pages of records related to JFK were released yesterday.
I heard it was coming.
Many
Wait, the JFK what?
The records, the JFK records that have been sealed, they unsealed 63,000 of them yesterday. Many without the redactions.
Huh.
It's a lot of pages.
How can we trust those are real, though?
Exactly. They've had, how many years to,
Fabricate.
make up whatever they want.
Then why not just unseal them decades ago? It's all just made up bullshit that doesn't have any relation to the reality of the situation. Why not just fucking release them?
Well, most people alive today weren't even, they weren't around back then. I don't think any of us were.
No.
So, what are we going to do? Like, oh, I don't believe you. But then again, we also don't believe the moon landings and all that kind of shit. And
That's an even better point, Andrew. Even better point. Why change any of it? Why not just fucking release them? What do you just deny? Deny. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all are crazy conspiracy theorists.
There was a saying that I was taught when I was in the military, when I was going through something called SEER training, survival, escape, resistance, and evasion. It's like POW training. And what they told us, like, there's this little saying, which is deny everything. Admit nothing, deny everything, and make counter accusations. That's what they told us. So if you ever get caught as a POW, never admit anything, deny everything, and blame them of something else.
This is the American political system at its finest.
Yeah. Granted, that was POW training, but I was never a POW. But I had to go through that training, which is terrible. 6 days of hell.
Now, this article kind of just woke me up a little bit, but bullshit. New planet named Ineposha is unlike anything in our solar system. What does that sound like to you when I read that? New planet named blah, blah, blah is unlike anything in our solar system.
It certainly gives the implication that the new planet would be also in our solar system.
Doesn't it, kinda?
What's the name of it? Polochka?
Enaiposha. Ineposha.
It sounds Russian or Polish. Maybe.
Yeah, but then you get into the article and it tells you that it's 47 light years away. Orbits a red dwarf star about 47 light years away from the sun. So it's not in our solar system. Yeah, I thought, oh my goodness, in our solar system, they're saying there's another planet now? I thought this was like big news. No, it's some blah, 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 47 light years away. They got me. Excuse me. Now.
Okay, so I just looked it up. So 47 light years is equal to about 276 trillion miles.
It will be there in no time.
And this planet is nothing like what's found in our solar system? Wow. Amazing. Science is so cool.
It's a super Venus because it appears to have a thick atmosphere composed of hydrogen, helium, water, methane, and carbon dioxide.
And they can tell that from all the way over here on the ground.
Yeah.
Got that big Venus energy.
Amazing. I was listening to Jesse Lee Peterson yesterday.
Yeah, Jesse Peterson. Amazing. Beta.
This finding came from recent measurements that showed faint traces of molecules at key parts of the spectrum. Goodness.
And meanwhile, there's going to be universities that are going to be looking at this and actually pushing money towards it to try and elaborate more information to the public about it.
Because it's so important, don't you know?
Don't you know?
We might be there in 27,000 years.
Well, I've got some space lettuce for you guys too, but I'm going to wait a little while before I do that.
All right.
But I do have...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Have you seen any of these new robo-taxis, Andrew?
No, I haven't. Please share.
It just says, I hitched a ride in San Francisco's newest robo-taxi, Zoox. ZOOX, an Amazon subsidiary, is preparing to deploy autonomous cabs as Tesla talks about his own debut. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, I'll say this. If a robo-taxi can drive in San Francisco, it can drive anywhere. That city is fucking crazy. So if they can get it, yeah. I won't drive there at all, ever. I don't even want to go to the city anymore. Unless they're paying me like $500 an hour for a side job. That's what I charge, literally. And no one wants to pay it. So fuck off. Fuck San Francisco. It'll just sink into the ocean for all I care.
Sorry, you get the Bay tax.
Yeah. You got the Bay tax. I like that.
You have a robo-taxis? That's like a Johnny Cab from Total Recall. Welcome to Johnny Cab. It looks like the Tesla trucks.
You know that YouTuber guy who does the glitter bombs and all that? He used to be a NASA engineer.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah. He got like better and better as they went on.
Yeah. He did some kind of thing where he fooled a Tesla doing like a Wile E. Coyote fake wall type thing. And the Tesla drove right through it. You know, like the Roadrunner would put the fake wall up so the road looks like it keeps going straight, but there's really a cliff there or something. Well, he put an image on the road to try to fool the Tesla. And the Tesla didn't stop. It drove right through it.
I wonder what would happen if you did the same thing, but you put like a group of school children, you know, like holding hands as they're walking through like the intersection or something. Would it stop for that? Or would it recognize the fact that it's an image rather than reality? How does it distinguish the difference?
I know with the cameras like that, it's weird. It doesn't use like LiDAR, like this robo-taxi thing. I read up on them before. They're using LiDAR, not cameras with eyes so much.
So Zack Nemo in chat saying they've debunked that video. Saying he didn't have the self-drive on and turned off the auto feature before he hit the wall. And he is now open to litigation.
Really?
Oh.
Apparently.
Yeah, Jaron pointed that out to me yesterday or the day before and told me to watch it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Offer, doesn't it?
Here's a hypothetical for everyone in chat, including the two of you. And I've asked this to a lot of people, including my students. If you were given, let's say you were like in a game show or something, or just like you won a raffle or whatever the fuck. You were given a Tesla truck. What do they call the Tesla trucks? They're called, I guess.
Cybertruck.
If you were given one, Cybertruck, and you could keep it and drive it, or you could sell it for half the market value, what would you do?
I'm selling it.
That's kind of what I say too. like way below market value. Like fuck that thing. They're pieces of shit. And I don't even care if people are attacking them lately. It doesn't bother me at all. Whatever. But still, it's just a piece of shit. I wouldn't, like, if you give me a regular Tesla and said, hey, you can sell it for $5,000, like, all right, cool. You know, buy $5,000. Someone else can have it. I don't want to drive a Tesla.
And I don't either. And I say I'd sell it for half market value, but I try to allow for the possibility that maybe I fall in love with it. Maybe. And really, I just can't see me giving two shits about a Cybertruck. Like, just too fucking big, too fucking bulky, just too much there. I don't need all that shit. There's nothing appealing about the Cybertruck.
No.
It's not even a truck. It looks like a cardboard box with like some great. I mean, I could probably build one of those as a demo in my garage in probably an hour or so. Cardboard box, spray paint, and some fake wheels on it. And then there you go, Cybertruck, and I could probably fool people. Oh, here, look at my new Cybertruck, and then just edit the video. And it's a horribly looking design.
One guy got a hate crime for spray painting a Tesla with a Nazi symbol on it because the driver was Jewish.
I didn't think there were hate crime laws.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely hate. Definitely have hate crime laws.
Okay, I've just heard a lot of people say in the past that there is no such thing as a hate crime law. You can be charged for it, but it never holds up in court because I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
In the U.S., hate crime laws, both federal and state, aim to punish crimes motivated by bias against a person's race, religion, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, gender, or gender identity, often with enhanced penalties. So, like, you can say whatever you want, Andrew.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of hate speech.
Yeah, no, crime. This is an actual crime, like, defacing property and putting hateful things onto it or something like that.
Yeah, it's, again, usually an additional supplementary crime. Like, you can't, I don't know, you'd just be charged with one single count of a hate crime. But if you get charged with, I don't know, if you beat the shit out of somebody and then they charge you for assault. And it's, the attorney decides, well, he's black, you're white, and because of something you said disparaging towards a group of people, maybe you don't like black people either, and maybe it's because you don't like black people that you decided to kick this dude's ass, therefore hate crime. So you can tack it on to something else, but usually in and of itself does not constitute much of anything.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, crime and speech are different.
And speech needs to be direct and actionable. Like, words in and of themselves aren't, don't incite violence. You guys, well, Zack.
It's weird because I'm looking at a futurism from, I guess it's yesterday, the 17th. No, 2 days ago. Okay, that's talking about the Wile E. Coyote wall. I want to find one where it says that he faked it.
Have you seen the latest from, I don't even think it's the latest. One of the latest from James Freeman. If that wasn't yesterday, I think it might have been the day before. I mean, I can't be sure, but I'd say there's a legit possibility that James Freeman listens to this very show.
Really? I think I saw him at one of the Flattoberfest here. It was early on, like 2020, the first one, and I didn't know his name. I had been watching him, and dude, he had a huge red beard back then. He was and a bald head. He was very noticeable, you know. And I walked up and I was like, I forgot his name. I was like, "Are you the First Amendment audit guy?" And he just shook his head, no. But I swear it had to be him, dude. I'm good with faces.
And that's exactly what James Freeman would say. I don't think he would say he's a First Amendment audit guy.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have known more. You know, I was just getting into all that stuff back then, and I had just found him maybe a couple months before that.
Well, aside from this very show right here, I don't know that the idea of someone going into a public building and doing a Freedom of Information Act request for the Jesus Christ, how has it slipped my mind? The public contract. The societal contract is what he wanted. He went in to make a public records request for the societal contract. And I'm 99.9% sure that that was something I had suggested that I would do if I would become a First Amendment auditor, but that was months ago. So the idea that someone comes and starts now making that records request for the societal contract, I thought was pretty funny. Maybe it's just one of those things whose time was ready, and we all came to the conclusion at the same time. By all, I mean he and I.
Synchronicity.
And by same time, I mean within our lifetimes. But yeah, it was kind of synchronistic just to see him go up there. I'm like, damn, I'm almost positive that's something I said I would do. But I've not heard anybody ever say it or mention it, and that the societal contract's not something that is usually brought up during First Amendment audits. Very rarely. I thought it was pretty cool.
No, James was talking about it in a video I saw yesterday. Is that the one you were talking about where he was asking all the people at the art exhibit and all that stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Two girls asking him questions. Oh, so how much do you make an hour? Oh, okay. So I'll put you down as being difficult. Okay.
Yep. Walking around with gloves so that when they become difficult, he can glove up.
You know what's weird about synchronicity is that lately it's been happening to me way more often than I ever expected to have happen. I'll just be like driving down the road and I'll suddenly start thinking about something, and then I'm like, fuck, I'll turn on something to listen to, just turn on like YouTube or whatever on Discord, and the moment I turn it on, like the same thing I was just thinking about, like deep contemplation kind of stuff, all of a sudden they're talking about it. I'm like, what the fuck? That can't be. Like, it's weird how it works, and I'm sure it happens to a lot of people.
Because we live in a simulation, Andrew.
Yeah, it could be. I still think it's some type of simulation. I just don't know what type of simulation. It's God's simulation or something.
You guys heard about this new TARA, TAARA, to combat Starlink, to be in competition with Starlink?
Never heard of it.
Nope. News to me.
It's a new...
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Now I hear you.
There you go.
Now we can, Rico.
Okay. I've been trying to chime in for like a hot minute.
What do you want to talk about?
Actually something totally different, like, is the reason why I'm chiming in. But when you were talking about the Cybertruck, have you guys seen the footage of them like tearing one apart? Like how some of the stuff is stuck on there with glue?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's been trim that just flies off while people are driving down the road.
And one guy opened the back door to the truck, and the entire inside of the door fell off. Like they're not made well at all. But either way, you guys are past that, I guess. Okay, my dog's in the phase of eating all wires.
Before you make that transition, Rico, we're going to take a little break since we're right there at it.
Okay. Play my song.
Did you drop one? I saw Post dropped one. I don't know. Did you drop one somewhere?
Yeah, but for reasons I'm not going to go into thoroughly, I've missed a couple shows.
Yeah, I noticed you weren't there Sunday. Hope you're feeling all right, man.
I'm about to be. Shanna talked to Andrew. So it's a positive thing.
Yeah, we did.
I know you're in love with her. She's got a crush
fucking
on me too.
Beautiful.
Of course she is.
And I was hitting on her. So whatever.
No, she told me.
And she liked it. So.
Oh no. She told me. Like, if I'm ever in Tennessee, I'm gonna hit you up. Like, I'm all about it because that'll take my temptation away. Like, because.
Okay. Let's not go down that road at the moment. It's like the break time.
Well, I'll say. Well, this was before I met my wife, but I've had a crush on her since '93. But I didn't want to ruin that friendship because I would have ruined it. All right, break.
Yeah, we'll take a little break. And apparently, Post wasn't a request, but that's all right. We'll play.
I did drop a commercial that I wrote and me and my family acted in. I did drop that recently.
That I saw, and the one you dropped was the song that your band used to cover. Yes, that was the song to which you're referring.
I have no idea, homie. But sure.
Why not? Faith No More, Digging in the Grave?
That's right. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, it was our best cover, too. Like, everyone got into that.
And maybe we'll check that one out at the halfway point. Otherwise, you guys stick around. That's been the first half of the IRONWORX. You silly cocksmoker. All right. We'll turn mute off and try this again. Now, we'll be back.
Boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say, well.
Remember, this is Post's fault.
Now we're about to say, well. I say, boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say, well. I say, boom, boom, boom. Now we're about to say, well. Well.
Notice, it's the Outer Fellas, back in the room, ready to rock the world with the boom. So I hope you can stand the vibration, cause we're about to rock the entire nation. Alright, here we go. I say boom boom boom, now let me hear you say well. I say boom boom boom, now we're about to say well. I say boom boom boom, now let me hear you say well. I say boom boom boom, now we're about to say well. Boom boom boom, now let me hear you say well. I say boom boom boom, now we're about to say well. I say boom boom boom, now let me hear you say well. I say boom boom boom, now we're about to say well. Girl, your booty is so round, I just wanna lay you down. Let me take you from behind. I won't come until it's time. But if I cannot sleep with you, maybe I could have a taste. Put your 90 on my tongue and your booty on my face. To make you shake it, till you break it. Caress your body until you're naked. Bend you over, grab your shoulder. Slip my beater inside your folder. Make it sweater, get you wetter. Pumping faster to make it better. Dim the lights, then lock the room. Cause now it's time for me to hit that boom. Boom, boom, now let me hear you say well. I say boom, 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 now we're about to say well. I say boom, 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 now let me hear you say well. I say boom, 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 now we're about to say well. Girl, your booty is so round, I just wanna lay you down. Let me take you from behind. I won't come until it's time. But if I cannot sleep with you, maybe I could have a taste. Put your 90 on my tongue and your booty on my face. Geronimo, look out below. Here comes the brother with the offbeat flow. I just fell from the mothership. Out here, brothers about to rip it on another tip. Slip, don't trip, check out how I do it. My niggas in the house, I turn your body, get the fluid. As I come from the depths of doom, I step back like wow, with the boom. Boom, 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 now let me hear you say well. I say boom, boom, boom,
me I say well. Well. Let me I say well. Well. Let me I say well. Let me I say let me I say well. Well. Boom boom. Let me I say well. Well. I say boom boom boom. No what about to say well. Well. I say boom boom boom. Let me I say well. Well. I say boom boom boom. No what about to say well. Well.
Because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworks with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworks with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworks with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
And welcome back to the second half of the first half of the Ironworks. We are without Walter this morning, but we are joined by Rico's tinfoil sombrero and Andrew B. And I believe I interrupted you, Rico, so we could take that break.
Oh, no, not at all. But isn't it kind of awkward that I've had to miss 2 Sundays of my own show?
It happens, man.
It does happen.
Well, it's because you have super hemorrhoids.
What's a super hemorrhoid?
Haven't you know what?
Nope. I don't want to hear about it.
No, Ace Ventura. Come on.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, Finkel and Einhorn.
Hey, before you guys get back to your show, Andrew, thank you so much for talking to Shanna. I'll
so
you
talk
can
about
get
that.
it.
Don't worry about that. I saved her number
so
and she
you-
wants me to call her back, so that's fine.
She's wonderful, and she just wanted someone
Yeah,
out there
let's
to
talk
know.
about that like another time.
Okay.
Let's not make this like a Dateline kind of thing. We're
only when Travis is here.
2,000 miles apart from each other. Yeah, where's Travis been?
He's out west, so it's like, I know you're out west too, but he's not a night owl. He's an early bird, so he's probably sleeping. 3 a.m. where he's at.
Okay.
Or even earlier, because he's in where they don't do. He's in Arizona, I believe, or no, he's in New Mexico. They do time change in New Mexico, I think. Just not Arizona. So what were you saying before the break, Rico? Do you remember?
No, I just woke up.
I hear you.
Like, I got the alarm, and I'm like, oh, cool, I get to catch the show. Because, like, lately I've been waking up, and the show has been over for, like, 2 or 3 hours. My sleep schedule's all over the place.
Yeah, it happens. I missed the show last Sunday as well, only because of family issues. So, yeah, shit happens. Life moves on.
Oh, yeah. And I told Shanna not to hold back when she talked to you, so I'm guessing you know everything.
I do.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah. No, it's all
right.
good. Let's not get into that right now.
No, I know. I was shutting down. That was me. When I said, all right, that was me shutting down.
No, it's your super hemorrhoids getting the best of you. It's okay.
Now that I understand the reference, it's funnier.
Well, yeah, you have to see the Ace Ventura movie.
Most
So
jokes
does that
work
make
that
me
way.
a dude or a woman?
It means you have super hemorrhoids. That's all. It means your butthole
You guys
is
carry
exploding.
on with your show. I'm sorry.
So in regards to, go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry. Please.
I was just going to say, it looks like the FDA, thousands of employees had to return back to work on Monday as part of the, if you're not going to show up to work, you're not going to work here anymore thing Trump's doing. You know, like federal government should be in the buildings that we pay for and air condition and all this stuff. And they're complaining because they have overflowing parking lots, long security lines, and makeshift office spaces without chairs and other basic supplies. Do you think that might have been something that, you know, somebody might have taken care of before the day it was supposed to, everybody's supposed to be there? I'm sorry, overflowing parking lots and long security lines? Welcome to life.
Exactly.
Dude, I don't trust Trump as far as I could throw him.
No, of course
Well,
not.
that's not really a Trump thing, but it's just about government efficiency being called to, basically, you know, called to bat, essentially. And a lot of these employees are like, oh my goodness, I need my union representative. Like, fuck off. I got offered a job today for $185,000 a year, working for Tesla as a project manager, a construction project manager. And even though I'm qualified for that position, I was like, no, I am not working for Tesla. Because the parking lot, it takes about 15 minutes from where you park to walk, and there's no shuttles, to walk all the way up in there. And then there's a long security line you have to go through. And I was like, yeah, so that's like a 45, you have to get to work half an hour early or more just to be able to get into the workspace.
You mean
fuck
Tesla
that.
can't even figure out how to do a self-driving shuttle in its own fucking parking lot?
I have friends that work there, and they say that you have to walk. Unless you're like an executive or something, that's like a separate parking lot.
Dude, I could zip around people on my bike, and I would beat everyone to work. And by the way, the company, I don't know if I told you this, but the company I worked for in Nissan also works in like SpaceX and Tesla and like Boeing. Like we do quality control everywhere. And riding my bicycle to work, I would beat everyone. I could just zoom around people.
Yeah, if you want to be Chinese.
What?
In China, everyone rides bicycles. Like in Thailand.
Okay. Okay.
When my son was 9, he had Heelys. He thought those were cool.
I had what's those shoes where you could like grind a rail? Remember those?
Oh yeah, I stole some of those from my work at Big Five Sporting Goods.
Yeah, I had those.
For extreme walking? Is that the way I understand it?
No, they had two metal pole. They were like sideways roller skates. It was fucking
So you only went left and right? That's cool.
No, they didn't have wheels on them.
Great at the buffet, I guess.
They didn't have wheels. They just had a way to grind.
So you could run real fast and jump up and slide?
Yeah.
Great. Money well spent. You know, socks, you can do that too.
He said socks could do it. All right, well said. Well played, sir.
No.
Find it.
I need $185 for a pair of shoes so that you can run and slide. Maybe you want to do it on a handrail. You never know. For all you extreme walkers out there.
Well, I had those back in the late 90s, and they were, I think, like $90 a pair. Only because they had the two little metal, like, sideways roller skate things on them. And I never used them because it just sounded like I saw people using them and they were just dangerous. And I never wore them again. They
Oh,
wouldn't be
wow,
comfortable.
Andrew, I just saw your text. The answer is no.
I don't remember what I texted you. Okay. Anyways, let's not go into all that personal stuff. So, I don't even know what I texted you. Was it about the super hemorrhoids?
Yep. Did you let DJ, Nico, and Lowry know?
Oh, that one. Okay. Good. Well, all right.
No.
Anyways, yeah,
it's
let's
just
talk about that
kinda-
later on. Later on.
Okay.
So, what I found is a little bit of space lettuce. So, this is, there's so much of it. Like Zack just brought something up. Now I'm going to bring this one up. I'll actually even share my screen with this one. So, where am I at?
Those shoes I was just talking about, they're called soap. They're called soap shoes. The shoes you could just run up on a rail and grind.
All right, here we go. Asteroid 2024 YR4 no longer threatens to hit Earth, but we can still hit it for science. When the universe gives you asteroid lemons, you should make science lemonade. And this is what they're fucking showing us. Okay, the asteroid 2024 YR4, once considered potentially hazardous, isn't likely to hit us anytime soon. Now, a team of researchers says that instead of stressing about the near miss, we can be excited by it because it will give us a surprising opportunity to study the asteroid up close. 2024 YR4 was first discovered in 2024. It's relatively small, just 130 to 300 feet across. But it's classified as an okay, this is just fucking stupid.
But when they said it'd be a surprising chance, I knew it was stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
like, that got real close to us, and now we can look at it. What? That's surprising.
Where are our tax money going to? It's going towards this shit. This website shouldn't exist. This is space.com. All right. That's all I got for now. I do have one other thing to share, but I'll do that later on.
That sounds like a pretty good pickup line if you ask me. Hey,
what's that?
Can I hit it for science?
Whoa.
All right,
I've never heard anything like this. A UCLA physicist discovered mysterious spiral patterns on solid surfaces. So they're doing something with these little 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter germanium chips. And somebody accidentally left it out overnight with, there was a little chip with something on it and a drop of water. And the lady got in there the next day and she decided to, topped with evaporated metal films in contact with a drop of water. So she examined these little dots that she noticed on the chip under a microscope and found that it made beautiful spiral patterns by the chemical reaction. The chemical reaction actually created these. It looks like you're looking at the top of I don't even know. It's a weird spiral. It's got 3 connectors in the center, and then they all are like wrapped around each other going out. But they found that not only that happens, but changing the thickness of it, they can make Archimedean spirals, logarithmic spirals, lotus flower shapes, radically symmetric patterns, and more. So nature does this. They said this has happened plenty of times before, but nobody chose to look under the microscope after they did something like this. That's wild. It looks like the Fibonacci sequence almost, like the rate of the curve. And these are teeny tiny, like you couldn't see these with the human eye. 260 nanometers. Or no, I don't even know what that is. It looks like a U with a long line to the left. What is that, Andrew? UM.
It's micro.
Okay. Yeah, teeny tiny.
Yeah, it's like the funny looking U.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how they measure capacitors, like microfarads. Funny little U, an extra little tail on it.
I wonder why. That's what really is getting me, like the thickness of the metal layer. Plays a role in determining the type of pattern that develops. I don't know. Don't know if this is real or not. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
How are they observing it though? Just with a regular microscope?
I'm not sure what type of microscope they used. It doesn't really say. It just says they looked at it through a microscope.
Because I confiscated a microscope from the place I work at, and in the medical department, they weren't using it, so I just took it. So I'm gonna be. It's in pretty good shape, so I'm gonna. It looks pretty expensive too, so I'm just gonna start fucking around with it. I haven't used one for a long time, but when it comes to certain types of microscopy, like electron microscopy, I am still very skeptical about that. Oh yeah, we can see electrons with electrons. What? You can't? Fucking bullshit liars. And every single person I talk to about that, they don't refer me to like a .edu or a .gov. It's like, oh, like a .org, like Science Journal or something. Like, okay, now I trust you even more.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, oh yeah, National Geographic. Oh, that's even better.
Well, yeah, now they're finding out that USAID was funding a lot of these so-called scientific journals.
Money laundering.
And there's a bunch of so-called scientists at the FDA, FDA that are crying about it because they can't have their 2,000 journals bought every month. They order from 2,000 different scientific journals. And they say they need it. They need them to do science. Yeah.
You know what I just realized? You remember that those screenshots that I sent to you about the recall versus lawsuit algorithm at car companies in the list? Mm-hmm. Not that I'm going to go into it now, but I just realized I can talk about that now. That's cool. Because they can't do anything to me now, you know?
Yeah.
But it's exactly like
a non-disclosure agreement, though.
Nope. No, they sent the wrong email to me, and it's exactly what happens in Fight Club, where he's talking about if the price of the recall is less than the insurance payout, then they do a recall, like in Fight Club.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Oh, yeah. It's their bottom line. Which one's going to cost less, right?
Well, that's why I'm so into his books. If you look behind me on the podcast, that's why I'm so into Chuck Palahniuk books, because he goes to different meetings and he bases his books around the meetings, not just Fight Club. Like all his books are based on fact, and it's insane.
Have you ever seen like one of the first RAM chips? Like,
no.
You know how computers used to be as big as buildings?
Oh, they were the size of. They just lined the walls of a room. That was called mainframe programming and computing.
Yeah, like they used huge tubes and things like that. They were enormous.
Didn't they use tape? Like in
No, it was the early days of transistors and diodes and as Zack is mentioning right now, RAM, which is random access memory, which is it's stored memory while the computer is turned on. But as soon as you power off the computer, the RAM has no use at all. The only thing there is the hard drive.
the second Captain America, where that one guy turned himself into a room full of computers. Is there any truth behind that?
I don't think so.
I don't even know what you're talking. Second Captain America.
Taking your brain and putting it into a computer, making yourself.
No, I'm not talking about the brain part. I'm talking about the way computers used to work.
Well, yeah, it's like taking your essence, your soul, pretty much, not your actual brain, but taking your soul and putting it into a computer, kind of living forever.
That's crazy.
So there, I dropped that in the IRONWORX chat. Yeah, it's a short, but it just shows that all it is a bunch of little tiny magnets with a bunch of wires running through them all in different ways. And when those magnets have certain electric pulses run through them, it changes the magnetic field of these little magnets, and that's the data. The change in the magnetic field on these little things is what tells it what that thing was like stamped as, an A, a B, or a 1 or a 0.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So years ago, something very similar to what you're talking about, I was reading a scientific article and publication about how there was these two Silicon Valley engineers. They were hanging out together at a bar after work, and they're just drinking and they were just shooting the shit, and they were trying to figure out like what was going on with like RAM and CPUs and like hard drives in particular. It's like it's that trifecta of how computers work, and just completely eliminating graphics cards. And that was all work in the binary system. And like, why are we still using the binary system? It seems so simplistic, but yet we have the DNA structure, which is way more sophisticated, and there's a lot more logic involved in it and sequence possibilities. So they started jotting this down on napkins and stuff, and it took them quite a long time to do, and eventually they figured out a way to do it, and they ended up figuring out how to do this on a carbon molecule. This is what I was told, at least in the scientific article, and it cost a very large amount of money to do. So it wasn't even cost efficient at all, but they did it. And what they did is they put Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech and the national anthem onto this, and they had some other Silicon Valley company or something actually recreate it, and they put it inside of this little test tube kind of thing, and you couldn't even see it because it was like so small, but they were able to actually recreate.
That's what he said.
So they were able to finally retrieve it and recreate what was actually on that carbon molecule.
That's crazy.
And what they were saying is that information, because of carbon cannot really be destroyed. It'll just always be there, which means the information will always be on it. They said you could bury this in the sand for 25,000 years. And regardless of any type of weather conditions or anything else, it'll still be there. And that's what they were saying.
Carbon doesn't break down?
What's it going to break down into? Isn't that the idea of being a base element? Is that's where you get?
Say everything breaks down.
Do not
hydrogen
poop on
eventually.
Thanks for pooping on the floor.
You're welcome.
You're hot micing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, fission is supposed to change all elements into something else eventually over, thousands of years. Blah blah blah. Releasing an electron here, an electron there. Blah 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 blah. I don't know. I don't know if I buy any of that. But it is break time.
I say that's the halfway point, Jens.
Dude it.
We done dude it. Stick around. We've got another hour of the Ironworks coming up right after this.
The grave. I got it made.
I forgot Jurassic 5 has those cold intros. Stick around. This is the Ironworks. A little Nelly Furtado.
Jurassic 5 DJ is now in incubus.
Really?
Yeah, this is a lesson in friendship. The depths of a kinship. What women and men begin with and then slip. My pen drips as I scribble my thoughts on thin strips of emotion. A fraction, seduction, attraction, eruption of passion corrupts if lasting friendships involved. Would love to cross the line, but that's why we built these walls.
We've been friends for a long time, a very close friend of mine. Love you like you was mine, but respect the thin line. I love you like you was mine, think about you all the time. Very close friend of mine, but respect the thin line. Opposites attract when the female and male come in contact. Sticky situation, in fact, trying not to let the feelings catch. But there's a thin line between both of y'all, so you respect that and entertain the idea, but get brought back to reality. And could you really live with that? Decision based on intuition. You love and keep it distant. Hug and kiss and friendship.
An ongoing kinship. We was people to begin with. Disrespect was not intended, but your feelings sparked a sentence. Sometimes you're too intense in your quest to invent the perfect man. Please understand, my rhyme is your repent.
We've been friends for a long time. A very close friend of mine. Love you like you was mine, but respect the thin line. I love you like you was mine. I think about you all the time. Very close friend of mine, but respect the thin line. We've been friends for a long time. A very close friend of mine. I love you like you was mine, but respect the thin line. I love you like you was mine. I think about you all the time. Very close friend of mine, but respect the thin line.
Too bad that we became friends first, and I'm not an expert on how relationships should work, but from the minute it was known, it changed the whole tone, the way we spoke on the phone. Yo, it was cool, but I felt it wasn't enough, and I was stuck when your moms would pick it up. Over you, all my buddies would swoon, but I felt we were in tune. You let me up in your room, damn. But to me, girl, you're still off limits. No matter all the times that I hinted. Yo, what you doing after this? Infatuation was authentic, but yo, I just pretended so I wouldn't lose the friendship. Maybe I should spill all my guts, or write a letter, then tear it up. Or do a song just to say what's up. I want just a touch.
We've been friends for a long time. A very close friend of mine. Love you like you was mine, but respect the thin line. I love you like you was mine. I think about you all the time. Very close friend of mine. Respect the thin line. We've been friends for a long time. A very close friend of mine. I love you like you was mine, but respect the thin line. I love you like you was mine. I think about you all the time. Very close friend of mine, but respect the thin line.
I can't do this anymore. See, my heart just falls out when you walk in the door. Friendship turning to lust into some deep tip that I can't comprehend, even if I knew it. Can't do justice to these things that I'm feeling. You got someone else, don't wanna be caught stealing. Hell, if she knew, she would never leave us alone in a room.
Yeah, this was a lesson in friendship. I stress in this sentence. Should women and men be friends first and then slip? My pen drips as I scribble my thoughts on thin strips of devotion.
Opposites attract, and best friends make a perfect match if you only knew that. Once you cross, ain't no turning back. The minute you let him in it and he hit that, that's that.
We was people to begin with, but you was too relentless, jeopardizing kinship. Respect is intended. Resolve is my intent. While we gotta end, I'm trying to salvage a friendship.
We've been friends for a long time, a very close friend of mine. Love you like you was mine, but respect the friend. I love you like you was mine, I think about you all the time. Very close friend of mine, respect the friend. We've been friends for a long time, a very close friend of mine. Love you like you was mine, but respect the friend. I love you like you was mine, I think about you all the time. Very close friend of mine, but respect the thin line.
That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Where everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your head.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
And welcome back to the first half of the second half of the Ironworks. Still not back on Free World yet, but we will be eventually. Allegedly.
So it looks like a judge blocked the administration from banning transgender people from the military. Now, it's not like it's over, it can't be done, it's going to go to court, and they're going to argue it, and this and that, and yada, 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 yada. And, I mean, I get it. There's all kinds of people that want to serve their country and this and that. But I get the other side, too, about that's fine. You can serve your country, but they need to put stipulations in. Like, you can't have any gender-affirming care surgeries while you're, serving your, I don't want to call it a sentence. What would you call it, Josh? You either do 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or, when you sign up. Your term, whatever you want to call it. I would say, because if you're in the military, you need to be ready to go at a moment's notice to go fight in war overseas or this or that, right? And if you just had surgery or this or that, that isn't, life-threatening if you don't get it, then you can't do your job as a service member.
Maybe.
Not only that, yeah, it's called your terms of service. Like this, it's kind of the same thing as like if you sign up to a website. It's like your contractual agreement with the military at the time. If people are going to be joining the military for the purpose of having them pay for that, they are mentally unwell, and they should not be there. End of story.
I don't agree.
No, really?
Well, I mean, now just imagine this. Historically, right, we can look back and say that those that win, right, the conquering forces have historically taken the enemy's women as part of their victory prize, right? It's part of the plunder where they sexually assault the women, right? And as part of the demoralization, you impregnate this new land and you breed out all of the old inhabitants with your new DNA as you impregnate the women as you come through. So we know that type of behavior It's still consistent, still goes on. So, hear me out. What if, rather than denying them entry, we create a company, a special platoon, maybe even smaller. Maybe we don't need that many, where we give them gender affirming care. We create a whole platoon of transgendered women. Yeah, we keep them looking as immaculate as possible, and those are the ones that we send out. And they're going to be a bit of a sacrificial lamb, mind you, but we let them get sexually assaulted. And only then, after the fact, do we tell them, wait a minute, enemy, no. You didn't impregnate anybody. As a matter of fact, what you did was you had homosexual sex.
This is like a South Park episode when they talk about like Operation Human Shield. The South Park movie.
I think it all goes to whether the fact they're going to be considering gender dysphoria as a mental illness. I mean, they've kicked, not allowed people into the military. Not so much during times of war, I would say. But like, I know Vietnam, if you could stand up and breathe, they would send you pretty much. But
well, that's a different situation because all they need to know is that you can actually hold a rifle and not shoot it backwards.
Yeah.
But when you can at least walk a certain speed for a certain distance without passing out. But when it comes to other people, they're going to be in the military, or let's just say the police force, because the police force is just as strict, if not more strict, when it comes to actually recruiting certain people. And they have to go through psychological tests to get in. Same thing with the military. They ask you a whole bunch of questions before you get in. Like, do you hear voices? Do you think you're someone else? That kind of shit.
Unless it's total war. Like, you know what total war is, right? Like, where your kids are fighting. Like, Hitler did total war, which meant if you could hold a rifle, you were in it. I don't think America's ever done.
No, we don't have total war. This is where you have the benefit of being women.
Right. I'm just saying that exists. Like, countries do total war.
Well, it's been around for a long time. Yeah, it's like any man, woman, or child that's able to hold a gun and fight should be fighting.
Hence the draft. That's why you draft people.
Right. But when it comes to transgender, even though transgender is not a real thing, there's no such thing as transgender. It's a misnomer entirely. When it comes to those people serving in the military, it lowers military morale a lot. And I have a couple of friends that were in the military, and they said they were going to stay in, past their 20-year mark, and they said all these trainees were coming in, and they had to call them ma'am, even though you could tell it was a fucking dude. They're like, fuck this, I'm getting out, I'm taking my pension and leaving. I was like, yeah, it's military morale. It doesn't do anything good. There's no benefit to doing that. Unless it's going to be Operation Human Shield.
Honey traps.
The side-by-side comparison of like Russia's military videos beside our current military videos.
It's all like tanks and special forces guy diving in the mud and shooting, and ours it's like the nurses dancing in the fucking hospitals and shit.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, come on, man. We don't stand a chance if that's true.
People are scared of, yeah. Well, the DOD, is what their defense is for a long time. They've not allowed people with physical or emotional impairments to serve in the military because it's, we don't.
I'm safe. On both levels, I'm safe.
Yeah, we don't send people with mental disabilities into the military like that. It's not safe for anybody out there.
Yeah, you can't join the military.
Me?
You have
no
if
way.
you have asthma. Not sure if you guys know that. you have asthma, that's it. You're out. You're out. And
if I'm picturing
when I
one
was
of my
in,
sick stepdads, I'm fucked. Actually, that probably make me better.
when I was going through the recruitment phase of the Navy, they said no. No means Navy opportunities. So if they say, "Have you had asthma?" No. Do you have any physical impairments? No. So that's what it means. They said just say no to every fucking question that the doctor asks you.
Yeah. Yeah, if they really want you in, they'll tell you what to do, what to say.
Oh yeah, they well, I mean, I was already going to be a Navy SEAL to begin with, but then I got in trouble and underage drinking in the barracks. They kicked me out of that program.
Is there an underage or overage issue? Like, what's the limit of age? Oh, okay.
Well, it varies based on certain. Yeah, if there's like a war situation going on, or if you have like a master's degree or beyond, then they extend the age limit.
Yeah, if you go into office or anything, I think you can be older. But I believe, like, just enlisted in a grunt, you can only be up to 35, and they don't take people after that.
Well, right after 9/11 happened, they were allowing felons to join. They had to get special waivers and stuff, but I met guys that had swastikas tattooed on the side of their neck, and other guys that they joined into like the infantry, and I was talking to these Marines, and I was like, "Hey, how you liking the Marines so far?" Like, I fucking hate it. I'm like, why is that? I haven't been able to kill anyone yet. Like, whoa, that's like, what the fuck? That's literally
like
why some people join the military. They just want to legally kill people.
Yeah, they say there's 3 types of people that join the military. Those that their whole family's done it forever, they just want to serve their country. Those that do it for a job, an opportunity. And then there's those that just want to go kill people. These people do it.
Have you guys seen Men Who Stare at Goats? Have you guys seen that movie? Where they're all aiming high because they don't want to hurt anyone?
Yeah. When people are drafted, it's about 85% of the drafted individuals will aim high when they see a target, like running in a field, another human being. They won't actually try to hit the human being, because if you have 20 guys standing out there, you figure one of the other 20 guys will hit them, right?
Right.
But only about 15% of the people actually shoot at the target and try to hit it, because they don't want to be there. They don't want to kill somebody they don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to kill anyone either. Like, that would be my issue.
Over here, who's 6,000 miles away, told me to go over here and kill somebody. You go kill him. Fuck you.
Well, it's the rich man's war, right? So, like, if you spoke the same language, you would probably become friends with these people that you're supposed to kill. You know, like, there's no difference.
I don't know. I think I'm the only one here at the moment that's actually been to war 3 times. No offense to anyone else.
No, you are. You are.
I will tell you this. I didn't necessarily agree with what was going on, and I highly disagree now that I understand what was actually going on. But even at the time, it didn't really matter.
Yeah,
it was my life, my friend's life, or their life. And I didn't have a choice. I was trained for combat, and those guys that were shooting at us, I don't know if they were trained for combat or not, but they had assault rifles, like AK-47s and mortars and shit. So it was like, yeah, it's my life or theirs. So I shot to kill.
See, I've never been in that position, so I don't know how I would act. You know, like, I don't know, Andrew. I don't know.
There's this thing in the military that I heard of back in not World War II. There was a real big thing in Vietnam called the conscientious, I always say that word, objector. They're like, yeah, my morals do not allow me to do this, therefore I'm going to stay passive the entire time. And those people were basically saying, yeah, you can court-martial me if you want. I don't care. I'm not doing this. I was not in that situation. I never saw that happen. But I did see some people that were like highly Christian, you know, guys that would just walk around with their Bible all day long and read that. And even in combat situations, they wouldn't even rack out their weapon. They'd still have their Bible. So I guess that was kind of that same situation. But
I mean, why
at that
even
point,
be there though?
they're dead weight.
Yeah, why even enlist and sign up? I mean, I can understand if you're drafted, you have no choice, right? It's this or prison. But why even join the military?
Prison's pretty harsh too.
Yeah, why join the military and then, you know, not be a part of the military? I don't get that.
Right.
Why would the military even let them be there? It's like, if you're not going to play, then I'm not going to put you on the field. Get out of here. I know it's not playing. I'm not trying to make light
some
of
people join the military, and the majority of the military never sees combat.
Oh yeah,
I saw combat 3 times, unfortunately, and other people, they're sitting back at home base in the, you know, in the accounting office, in the personnel office, and you know, they're working in supply, or they're working at the airfield or something. They're
Like
not doing
running
shit.
drones? Are you talking about people that run drones?
No. That's actually considered a form of combat. No, I'm talking about people that, like, they can barely pass their PT test.
Yeah, they do all the administrative work. They do the cooking and cleaning and driving the truck.
Yeah, they work in supply and shit.
Right.
I understand.
The support roles, the women and everybody else, they fill the support roles for the guys in combat. How that works.
Yeah, I have no offense against any of them. My girlfriend at the time, I really wish Lisa, one of the loves of my life. Anyways, yeah, she worked in supply. Never saw combat. She couldn't. She had a fucked up spine. Like, she had like I don't know, something to do with like something with her spine. She can pass her PT test, but she couldn't run for very long because it would fuck up her back too much. And that's why she worked in supply.
Well, there's still not a lot of women in combat for real.
Right. Well,
none.
Female pilots and stuff. They're not really like. There's no frontline females. There's no special forces. No infantry females.
I know there was a few Rangers there, but they had lowered. I don't know if they're still there. I know they had to lower all the qualifications, and then some of them didn't even pass those, and they still got passed through, and it raised a big hubbub.
Maybe. I think they'll also tell you there was one single female Navy SEAL. I think is a claim.
Oh, G.I. Jane?
Well, that's just it. You know, there's a female Navy SEAL, but for security reasons, we can't tell you her name. For obvious security reasons, we can't tell you her name. So they claim there's one. I think some claim there's one. But yeah, no.
I'm a Navy Dolphin.
That's good.
$143 women have graduated from the U.S. Army Ranger course as of August of 24. But we're talking out of over 1 million people.
There's 1 million Army Rangers?
No, 1 million military members.
Yeah, but most of those won't make Army Rangers either. I'd be real curious about those standards and how they probably had to lower the standards. And if not, great, but I still think they'll end up in support roles.
No, 2.2% of Army Rangers, it says, right now are female.
Yeah. I think they just found out they need special support for the special
I didn't think that was possible because they have to be able to fulfill the same jobs that every other. They're not supposed to discriminate.
I really doubt that.
No, and they did. They made like a women's course type thing. They didn't have to do as many pull-ups or push-ups or this or that. They didn't have to, hike 10 clicks at the same pace as the men.
It's like getting an honorary degree.
Oh, like a political stunt, essentially. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then that's fine.
That's what I went in there and told the guy I wanted to be. Sergeant Trowbridge was his name. He's like, so what do you want to do for the Army? And there was a Ranger poster right up next to his head. I was like, well, I know you can turn my body into anything you want it to be. I want to know if I got the mentality to do that kind of stuff. He got all excited. Then I told him that my lung had collapsed spontaneously. Yeah, they're not even going to let you in the Air Force, kid. Sorry about your luck. I went and tried to do the Air Force, and yeah, they wouldn't let me either. They're a little more lenient in the Air Force.
They're a lot more lenient. The majority of the females in the military are in the Air Force.
But nope, they wouldn't take me. I tried.
No offense to anyone that's been in the Air Force, but every other branch of the military makes fun of the Air Force. We call it the chair force. They don't do shit. They do like 3-month deployments, and they complain about it. Bitch, fuck off. Been here for a year.
Right? You want to fly an F4. Join the Navy.
Andrew, what were you?
I was a CB. I was in NMCB-5. Well, my first deployment I was on the USS Nassau LHA-4, which was an amphibious assault ship. And I was attached to the ship, but also a detachment to the 24th MEU, which is the Marine Expeditionary Unit, number 24. And we were there in 2001 and 2002 and 2002, 2003. That's when we invaded Iraq. And what CBs did, there's only like 17,000 CBs in the entire Navy. So we're ground forces. And we still had to know everything, ship-wise, which is fucking boring. But what we did is we were boots on the ground, and I was an electrician. I'm still an electrician, ironically. But what we did is we did fast action construction in combat zones, where we would stop, drop, and set up shop. Kind of like what the old saying goes that we did. And when we invaded Iraq, we drove with our convoys through the middle of the fucking desert. At nighttime, I had no idea where we were going. Fortunately, someone did.
So wild, dude. That had to be crazy.
Yeah, and we were just going through, and our
lights on. Was it all night vision?
Oh no, we had fucking everything going. No lights. We were blinding the fucking enemy. We had fucking full everything going the entire time, and we also had like air support. Helicopters above us and everything. It was like dun 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 dun. It was like a fucking movie, right? It's what it was, and a lot of people had like death metal playing in the background on like loudspeakers and shit. And our orders were to shoot anything that moves.
Those are some interesting rules of engagement. That's it. We've got one more segment.
I'm an inanimate object.
That's what we were told. It's hey, shoot anything that moves. We didn't really have. There was like no gunshots that went off for a long, long time. Because we were driving for hours throughout the.
So Andrew, we got to take this final break for you.
Yeah.
Wrap this up, and then we'll come back.
If you want to hear about it, but
absolutely,
I'll shut up.
Nope, I want to hear about it. We'll hear about it on the other side of the break, though. So don't you guys go anywhere. We've still got one more segment to go.
we're up to our long-distance dedication. And this one is about kids and pets and a situation that we can all understand, whether we have kids or pets or neither. It's from a man in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's what he writes. Dear Casey, this may seem to be a strange dedication request, but I'm quite sincere, and it'll mean a lot if you play it. Recently, there was a death in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles, but he was most certainly a part of... Let's go start again. I'm coming out of the record. Play the record, okay? Please. See, when you come out of those up-tempo goddamn numbers, man, it's impossible to make those transitions, and then you got to go into somebody dying. You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for, but goddamn it, if we can't come out of a slow record, I don't understand it. Is Don on the phone? Okay, I want a goddamn concerted effort to come out of a record that isn't a fucking up-tempo record every time I do a goddamn death dedication. Now, make it, and I also want to know what happened to the pictures I was supposed to see this week. This is last goddamn time. I want somebody to use his fucking brain to not come out of a goddamn record that is, that's up-tempo, and I gotta talk about a fucking dog dying. Boy, this is fucking ponderous, man. Ponderous, fucking ponderous.
And welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Ironworks, kicking off right this very second.
And we're back.
You'll be back.
All right, Andrew, you're out in the desert playing death metal and...
Okay. Well,
But he's probably playing Caius.
So there's a lot more to it than one. I'm just giving you guys the shortened, truncated version of this. If you want to hear the entire thing, it'll take like an hour. I'm not going to do that right now. Or more. But, yeah, it was anything that moves, shoot it and kill it. And we barely heard any shots at all, ever, until we got to a certain location. And I had no idea where we were going. All I knew is that once we stopped, we got to a certain, our LZ, then that's when all the CBs, there was about 300 of us, and we were going to be, and there was like at least 100 vehicles, ranging from helicopters and MTVRs, Humvees, and different cargo vehicles and stuff like that. So once we got to a certain area, some of the vehicles split off, and I guess they went to go, they blew the fuck out of something. I don't know what happened. We could see it off in the distance. And then we stopped, dropped, and set up shop, and we built base. And it took us about 31 hours, roughly, with very few breaks. And that's when we set up barriers and started building stuff, setting up generators and porta potties and everything else you could think of. And we built that base for about 2,000 people in about 30 hours, roughly. And then we had to set up, like turrets and stuff like that, watchtowers. And that was just that was like a rinky-dink version of a base. But then, a year later, we had it fully fortified with different types of barriers and stuff like that. And, we actually had like roads we put in and, power lines everywhere and internet and all that kind of shit. But yeah, we had everything. We had special forces with us. We had air cavalry. There was even a couple of tanks that came along. And yeah, it was like I said, it was like dun 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 dun. It was like one of those fucking war movies. And it seems cool at the beginning until you realize what the fuck you're doing. Like these people have no chance. Like it wouldn't matter. Like we brought the fucking heat. And it was Iraq. And the only country that would probably stand a chance against us, maybe like if we were on their ground, might be China or Russia. Like any other country, they're fucked.
Yeah, Iran has a pretty stout military too.
Yeah, but we always go in with air forces first, and we just blow the fuck out of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's And that's from like a very high altitude. So, yeah, you take out their main areas, and then after that, like the ground forces move in, and then it's fucking over. It's like the Blitzkrieg attack the Germans used. You know, you take everything at the same time.
Iran's got that religious fanaticism too.
Who?
Iran. Oh, you'll invade us? Well, we'll just let off the fucking nuke. We'll kill the whole world. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, nukes are real. I don't think nukes are real personally, but nuclear energy is real. I don't think nuclear weapons are. That's just me.
Yeah, they do have big bombs though. That'll fuck up all shit. Big bombs. So there's supposedly been a breakthrough in understanding the human body. They found that the skin, just like plants skin, but the human skin screams to the other cells around it for long periods of time. You know, they say our neurons are firing, but it's like electricity going through a conductor. It's almost instantaneous, right? It's doing all this kind of firing going on and off our nervous system. Well, this moves at about, what did it say? 10 seconds. Where did it say that? Oh, 10 millimeters per second. So much slower. This is more like, you know, how electricity would travel through an insulator. It'd be much slower. Instead of instantaneous, to do that 10 millimeters, you know, it takes a second. And when you're talking about electricity traveling, 1 second is a long time. Like it can go from the top of whatever up there down to the ground. And
that's Coulomb's law.
But yeah, they're saying they think, they have no clue, but they think it's electrical calcium signaling. The same thing that's observed in plants when damaged by a hungry caterpillar. That's relied heavily on ion channels, small pores in cell membranes that allow the transport of charged ions, predominantly calcium, but they're still not 100% sure. And it'll happen like not just a couple cells away, but hundreds of micrometers from the site of the wound. And it's kind of like how plants do it. And it's a long, slow scream instead of the, a fast. So we're a lot more like plants than we thought, according to this. And they last much longer than neuronal signals. Some conversations, they're calling them, you know, these cells communicating with the cells around them, lasted up to 5 hours, according to these researchers. But the voltage was similar to that of neurons. It's just like it's traveling through something different, and the electricity doesn't get to travel as fast, so it takes a lot longer almost. They're saying this, may come to new possibilities for biomedical devices, wearable sensors, and electronic badges that accelerate wound healing. Understanding these screams between wounded cells opens doors we didn't even know existed. And this is from sciencealert.com, so who knows if this is even, we'll see. In 6 months, they're going to say it's BS probably or something like that.
Or we'll just never hear about it again, ever.
Yeah. Ever. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about all that. But yeah, they say it's just like the plants. The same type of, structures in the cells, sending certain chemicals.
Well, what do you think about universities that get scientific grants from the government or other organizations, and they're like, here's $200,000 for whatever research that you're requesting money for? Don't you think they'd have to produce something? And if they don't produce it, they'd be like, all right, well, fuck off. We're not giving you any more money ever again. So at some point, I would have to assume.
I mean, even if you get results, you better get a null result, at least. And I want to see lots of effort and attempts and, this and that. It better all be recorded and this and that, whatnot. But I'm sure there's a lot of that going on, Andrew. Or, we want it for this, and then they don't even attempt it. Or maybe
over
sit
here
down for a day and
at
try
Stanford University, which is, pretty close to where I work, they were given I think it was $300,000. This was like over 10 years ago, to build an artificial robotic squirrel that could blend in with other squirrels. Like, what in the flying fuck reason would you ever have to do that?
Yeah, how is that science?
It's just like, cool. But
squirrels
nowadays, the
gonna
CIA has fully admitted that they are actually attaching certain types of implants to birds that are making them.
They've done it to house cats.
With like cameras and shit on them?
Cameras and listening devices. The first time they tried it, and successfully the cat lived and it was working, they released it to hopefully go spy on this guy, like in a park or something, and it got hit by a car crossing the road. I bet they can steer them now, controlling their muscles or whatnot.
Yeah, but at a certain point, you have to be like, artificial squirrels that can blend in with other squirrels. I mean, squirrels they have a real strong sense of smell, and their sense of perception is different than ours.
Oh, they run the world, dude. We ain't gonna outsmart the squirrels.
I fucking love squirrels. Squirrels are awesome. I saw a squirrel crawl up the side of a 3-story building one time, straight up.
Yeah, they're amazing climbers.
I was like, what? How the fuck did that just happen? Like,
have you ever had wars trying to keep squirrels off of bird feeders?
No, I've never seen that. No.
Oh, there's all kinds of videos out there. Just search "can't keep squirrel out of my bird seed," and there will be 1,000 videos of contraptions people have tried to put up. This one guy even built like a big giant maze type thing for him, where he had to make all these crazy jumps and go through all these different obstacles to get to it, and the squirrel still did it. Like, you're not stopping the squirrels. Have you heard about these text messages people are getting about unpaid tolls?
Yep, I've received that as well. And if you look up the area code for it, it's in like Nova Scotia, Canada. It's a complete scam.
Yeah. So there's nothing where they're going to be contacting you by text message. They send you mail.
Yep.
And there's no place that says you have to call in to talk to a representative. There's always a way to just pay it online, right there, bing, bing, boom, and it gets done.
And I don't think there's a Nigerian prince that owns any of these toll roads, just as a heads up.
No, come on. Don't tell me that, Josh. I already invested in that.
And then they're saying that your license can be suspended to scare people and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. None of these tollways have the ability to do that, to take away your license. They can send something to the motor vehicle agencies and the police are going to, they'll pull you over and get a bunch of money out of you.
No, what they do is they'll actually
take your license.
They cannot take your license, but they can restrict you from renewing your registration. If you don't have renewed registration, that means your insurance company will not renew your insurance. So it's basically like you have a license still, but you're not legally allowed to drive anymore.
You'll just have to be put on the insurance of somebody else's car.
Yeah.
Isn't the point of the toll roads is that's like privatized infrastructure? That's how they charge the tolls, that it's not publicly owned?
Yeah. At least the one...
Well, then tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're going to restrict my ability to drive or insure or register my vehicle in any fucking way? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm on a motherfucking private property. I can understand if I ran a stop sign on public roads. Sure, you can get a ticket. But if you're on private property, a stop sign don't mean shit. Run it all fucking day long. Maybe they'll say, hey, don't do that. Maybe they say, hey, you can't ride on our roads anymore because you can't seem to follow our rules. But it's private fucking property. It's a civil matter. I don't see how they just get to hand down edicts because a private property owner says, hey, do that.
So here in the Bay Area, we have the two main bridges that go from the East Bay going over to the peninsula, or like San Francisco is and all that shit. Those two bridges are the Dumbarton Bridge and the San Mateo Bridge. And I think it's up to like $8 a pop right now. And they said that about 20 years ago, those fees were supposed to expire because the fees were only supposed to pay for the cost of building and maintaining the bridge. But they're still paying for, and they're still increasing the fucking prices. So it's just a cash cow. It's a scam. But people are still paying it because they have to. Otherwise, you have to drive 50 miles out of your way and go through like 2 hours of extra traffic.
So here, I guess it's a state-by-state thing for the toll roads. Here in South Carolina, if you decide not, you get a toll thing in the mail, you don't pay it, you have a 12-month period. Or no, blah, 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 blah. If you don't receive a toll violation, you get additional fees and fines at first, yada, yada, yada. And then consequences of non-payment. You'll get a citation, which requires payment of the unpaid tolls plus an administrative fee within 30 days, or you must appear in magistrate's court to contest the citation. Misdemeanor punishable by a fine or imprisonment, and the department can have a lien on the vehicle. It says nothing about taking your license or anything like that for failing to pay a toll, at least here in South Carolina. But they can put a lien on your vehicle, which then I don't think you'd be able to get it registered after that. I'm not sure. Because wouldn't that mean that they own it? I'm not sure. But yeah, I get it. It's a state thing, it's looking like, when it comes to toll roads.
Yeah, so a lien is sort of different than a levy. I think if they levy it, then they can. A lien says you aren't allowed to do anything with it until you rectify that particular lien.
Okay.
Like a mechanic, if you drop your car off at the shop, say, hey, I need my oil change, and like, oh, all right. We changed your oil, and then we did like $3,000 worth of extra work that needed to be done to your car. Like, well, I can't afford $3,000. They're like, all right, well, fuck it. Here's a lien against your car, and it's going to sit here until you pay this off. I mean, or no, you go ahead and take it, but we'll just put a lien on it. You can't just sell the car to try to avoid having to pay this $3,000. The lien says you can't sell the car. Like, if there's a lien against the car, then you can't sell it until you can rectify that lien. So all it does is sort of guarantee rectification of that bill, saying at some point you're going to have to fucking do this. Or just perpetually kick the can down the road and stay responsible for this vehicle or whatever it is. It's the way HOAs get away with their shit too.
There's an HOA war going on in our neighborhood. It's funny. And the guy whose wife used to do it when there was no issues or trouble, you know, real laid back, just, you know, did it, wasn't all intrusive and all that kind of stuff. Now it's like, once she left, a new person came in and decided to make up a bunch of more stuff and yada, yada. Yeah, it's been crazy. But now he's running for it and wants to put it back how it used to be. Yeah, that's all you need is more government. Let's just make more government. No. I'd like it out a little bit more in the country. And the country's not far away. I can drive 2 miles and be out in fields, you know, where you don't even see houses. It's just that 2 miles is packed with people to get to there. I guess I'm getting used to it, though. We went to go pick something up from this deli yesterday. And, you know, living with all these people and all this stuff within just 2 miles, I was looking at where this place was, and it was like 5.4 miles, and I was like, dang, that's far. I used to drive over 20 miles to work every day. And here I am now, like, looking at 5.4, like, oh, man. It's going to take 14 minutes to get there? What the heck?
I have a 29-mile commute to my job. But I have really good hours. I don't have any traffic at all. This is an accident. It's making me think of that song from Weird Al, Amish Paradise.
Amish Paradise.
It's got to be one of my favorite songs I've ever heard.
So I had my first ever panini yesterday.
What is that?
That
it's like a smashed sandwich.
Yeah, smash grilled type sandwich. It's good.
Imagine a waffle maker, but instead of waffles, like you open up a waffle maker, take the waffle plates out, and flip them over. And most waffle makers they'll be flat, and you can use it like a panini maker. It's just like a flat grill, and you just make a sandwich with like nice, fresh like ciabatta bread, and you just make it up as normal. But then you put it in that press grill and just close it for a few minutes, and you toast the outside on those hot plates. That's like a panini press, essentially.
Okay, yeah, Karen just said grilled sandwich.
Yeah, It was good.
Well, like a grilled cheese is a grilled sandwich, but it's different than a panini. You got to smash it a little.
Yeah, it was smashed. And it had like the grill marks, the smash, like the indentation of the smash in the bread. Sourdough bread.
So it's like a George Foreman grill? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Essentially.
Kinda. Yeah.
All right.
Only they're not designed to smash. They're just sort of meant to cook on both sides without any real downward pressure. Whereas panini, I think you actually create that downward pressure. It's a panini press is relatively large and heavy top point so that the force comes down and gives it that smash to it.
It's good.
Yeah, all right. More trouble than they're worth for what it's.
Yeah, Jason's Deli, I think it was called. Nice little sub shop.
No.
Made me think of Lincoln Carryouts.
Dan Punani is something different than a panini.
There was a place in Hobart where all the people that worked at the mills would go and get their sandwich right before work. You know, the ones that are wrapped in the white paper. Lots of meat, lots of cheese, lots of whatever for pretty cheap prices. It was called Lincoln Carryouts. And since I moved to that place in 1984 is when they opened. And they're still like gangbusters, I guess. They're still there. Mom and pop shop. They made it through all the bullshit. But yeah, they are still going strong. They made awesome sandwich. And they call their sandwich like the steel worker, the iron worker, Those places are getting more rare and rare nowadays. I'm hoping to see more mom and pop shops open up. Maybe with these tariff in China and all this stuff going on. I know Walmart's going to take a hit. Poor Walmart. Not going to make billions and billions and billions in profit this year, you poor, poor souls. Might have to start selling American-made goods in your stores instead of slave labor goods. Thanks, Bill
I haven't been
Clinton.
in a Walmart in like 10 years. The last time I went in there, my buddy, who's a kleptomaniac, stole a TV, a big screen TV during Black Friday. And it's really easy to steal from that place. He walked straight out the front door of the big screen TV. I was like, how the fuck? And he put it in my car.
You're in California. Try doing that down here in South Carolina. That ain't going to fly. I guarantee it. You're getting tackled. And they getting that TV back. I guarantee it. Yeah. I know, haven't they changed the laws a little bit to where it's now a felony for stealing over $1,000 or something like that?
In California, anything less than 1,000 is considered a misdemeanor, including grand theft and auto theft.
And they don't even get anything for it, though, do they? The misdemeanor's like a slap on the wrist, and
yeah, it's basically they just give you a citation to go to court. That's it.
Straight to jail. Yeah, Florida has a lot of people that come from California and try to break the law. I watch a lot of their body cam videos, and you hear it all the time. Well, this ain't California. Like, what? A felony? It's not even $1,000. Like, yeah, it's a little different here. But that does it, folks.
Damn, that does it and then some. I wouldn't pay any attention. I'm in a new station at work temporarily, and the guy's a power lifter. And he's got a sticker at his station where I'm temporarily located. And the sticker just said, Iron Infidel. But, that's pretty cool. So I was just sitting here looking up Iron Infidel, went to the ironinfidel.com website and was checking out Iron Infidel. But yeah, we'll be back again on Friday. Hopefully, Walter will be able to join us. We'll go over a little bit because, fuck it, we're not on Free World. What difference does it make other than the fact that I need to get to work? But we will see you back here Friday morning again. Lots of positive and healing vibes going out to Walter and, of course, Michelle, because if Walter ain't feeling good, you know Michelle's feeling it too, one way or the other. But I love you guys. Be good. Be well. Do good and do it well. Have a great rest of your week. We love you. Bye-bye.